Hey, what's good, people? Today we're gonna be looking at XSS, cross-site scripting. Um, I'm not sure if this would be, a way that you would do. I would fast check off every parameter for XSS vulnerabilities, maybe, bypassing their WAF, finding out how their filters work, then breaking their string delimiters and stuff like that. But we're going to be basically looking at how JSON methods are used and passed through this web application, and then we're actually going to break them to give us an alert. We're going to check for sanitization, filters, stuff like that. So start with burp and just intercept the request. We have a tool ID, which the tool ID is 12. We have the submit button and the lookup. Okay, so let's send that to a repeater. Okay, so we know we're looking for JSON, so let's have a look through here. Okay, so we have our if statement there. So okay, so we have the variable. We have our query, which is this is what we're interested in, this line right here. It's quite a long line, but we're only actually going to be having a look up to here. You would actually, in a real life scenario, you would copy this whole query, but I'm not going to. Let's go into a text editor. Let's paste that. Okay, so we have a variable, that's its name, gpentest tools JSON string. The query ID requested equals 12, so that's getting called from somewhere. We have the name, so that's obviously in a database or something along the lines of that. We have the ID again. We have the tool name, which is XSS phrase to use, discovery, tool type, fuzzer, and then we have the comment. Let's see if we can, maybe inject our own tool ID. Like, let's see if they allow user input. Which if they do, that's going to be our method to get an alert, which would be bad if they actually do. I mean, it's vulnerable, but if it's a real life scenario, I meant. So yeah, they do. We're allowed. So we're gonna be abusing this right here, the tool ID. So now we know that. Let's see if they're, sanitizing. Or why am I trying to edit that? Let's see if they're sanitizing kind of any, special characters. So we'll just put a quick XSS payload there, and we're gonna send. We're gonna find that JSON again. We're just gonna scroll up, and there's no sanitization. We got our quote, we got everything here. Now you might get ahead of yourself and be like, oh, let's go submit this. That isn't going to work. I mean, I'm sure if you edit the payload a lot, it will. But that isn't how we're going to go around abusing this. So let's set that to 12 and just send that again. So we know that there's no sanitization or filtering or any kind of web application firewall. If there was, I'm going to bring a video on how to bypass that pretty soon. So we're going to have a look at building our script. So we're not going to need this for our payload. So let's add an alert, 1. We're gonna this means everything else basically just doesn't get executed. So we're gonna copy this. We're gonna go into back. We're gonna go into that request. We're gonna keep the ID there. We're gonna follow. And we have an error. Okay. So let's just add that there. See if that works. error trying to pass JSON unexpected token identifier. Okay, so in this case, if you don't know what's causing this error, you're gonna go Google. Google's your best friend in ways. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna find a solution, and then I'll be back. Okay, so as we see, what caused this error in the third line? Okay, products is an object created from an object literal JSON.parse is used convert string your code turns. Okay, did that kind of make sense? I still think it's to do with my payload. I think there's actually got to be that there, or maybe there. Actually, it may have to be here. I actually don't know. Like I said, this is how you actually test. You know, there's a lot of googling. There's a lot of googling involved. So if we just go here, let's try do that maybe, and we got our alert one. So now you can, if this was me personally, I'd go report it. I know that this wouldn't count as a bug because it actually isn't really going to affect anyone. It could maybe, I'm not sure. Now I don't know if this comes under Java injection. It might do, I doubt it, but it could. I'm not saying that it don't, and I'm not saying it does. So obviously what we've just done is what the hell? Okay, what I'm saying, okay, so what we've just done is we've went through, we've analyzed the web application, how it works, we've made sure that, you know, it's not sanitizing, filter and stuff like that. We made sure we've passed our own value, so that means that we know we can enter user input. We've know that it's trusting user input and it's not sanitizing or filtering user input, and then that led to us building a payload and intercepting the request to abuse that JSON request and get the alert. So if you've enjoyed this video, you know, maybe follow me on Twitter, and that's about it really. If you want a video on how to set up this, just Google this, and if you want a video, because I know there's not many videos on it, then, you know, I'll make one. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good one. Good night, people.